Guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, especially if you love MMA as much as I do. Unfortunately, given how those two act towards each other, and given that there's clearly no hatred there or any kind of hard feelings, I don't think that fight will ever happen. The thing is, John Jones is not in the UFC right now, and while I think it's possible he might return, let's say he wins a few big fights, let's say he wins a boxing match, and he goes undefeated, and he says shows interest in going to the UFC, I think Dana White would have to consider it because it's best for business. I mean, he's a businessman. He's obviously going to do what's best for business. I sound like WWE talking when I say best for business, like the authority thing with Triple H and all them. But as far as like right now, I think it's very highly unlikely. And I don't see John Jones fighting outside the UFC. I really don't. He's already talked about he wants to retire after his next fight. Whether or not he meant that or is actually serious about that, I don't know. But when a guy starts talking about retirement, usually they don't want to have much more. I mean, because John Jones really has nothing to prove in his career in terms of being the greatest of all time. I think he's cemented his legacy despite beating Cyril Gane the way he did. At this point, if he fights Francis, it'll be just for fun. I mean, I don't think there's. If Francis does go back to the UFC, it won't be anytime soon. I'd give him 2 or 3 years if he still stays unbeaten and wins their title and wins a boxing match against Tyson Fury, or even let's talk about who was the other guy, Deontay Wilder or anybody else. Then he would bring value and then go to the UFC, maybe have a one fight deal with him. I don't see him fighting Stipe or anybody else because he doesn't need to. I mean, he's already said he doesn't feel like he needs to fight Stipe again. But as far as John Jones, and the thing is, there's no rivalry there. You know, you can tell that they actually get along. John Jones even admitted after the interaction that they're actually friends. You could tell how they were interacting. There's no beef there. So I really don't see that as a fight as going to happen or it needs to happen or anything. I want to see it as a fan, but I doubt that actually happens. That's just my opinion. And the thing is, and when John Jones does retire, like I said, I don't see him fighting outside the UFC because, you know,